So thank you all for coming again. We are super excited today for the year-end town hall. So this is our last one of 2023. And I just want to, right before we dive in, introduce the speakers today. So we have Vanessa Wood, who is the communications supervisor. She's going to be sharing in the presentation, and Emmanuel George, who is the community action program supervisor. My name's Taylor, and I am the donor communications coordinator. And we are also going to be able to watch a video from a volunteer leader in Sierra Leone as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. Our focus today is on the volunteer leaders in communities in Sierra Leone. If my PowerPoint can work, there we go. So yeah, we're super excited to talk about this today. Actually, yesterday was International Volunteer Day, and there was a special celebration in Kenema. So we're going to be talking a little bit today about what that looks like to be a volunteer leader and the transformation that they bring to their communities. And we actually, right now, OneVillage Partners has over 315 active volunteer leaders that are trained and already making changes in their communities. And we believe, as part of our pillars, that sustainability is really important, and we aim to foster inclusive leadership and impact for the future. Impact that comes from the community itself, because we believe that volunteer leaders play a vital role in sustainability and the health of their communities long term. So that's just a little bit of the introduction. I'm going to hand it over to Vanessa, who's going to be sharing a little bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Taylor. As Taylor shared before we get started, that yesterday was International Volunteer Day, and what the team did in Sierra Leone was really amazing. They gathered nearly 100 of our current volunteers from across our 40 different communities, gathered them together with Kenema alongside with local government, district council members, district government, and also just normal civilians and also other NGOs to come through, celebrate what our community action group volunteer leaders are doing, and also the impact they're having, not just in their communities, but just around their surrounding communities as well. And in a nutshell, really around Kenema, because when these volunteers are doing something in their communities, it is that ripple effect that is being seen through other communities. So in 2022, we saw a 211% increase in volunteer leaders gaining a community leader position after completing the community action program. So that's really massive for us. So not only are these individuals who are volunteers, they already have the leadership skills. It's just that through the community action program, they're able to enhance those skills. And by becoming a volunteer leader, they're able to lead, they're able to mobilize community, they're able to, understand project management from the creation till the end. So they really are gaining these really lifelong leadership skills, and then utilizing it after the community action program is completed. They utilize it in their lives, in their personal lives, and in their community. So this is really an all-round sustainable. The power of our volunteer leaders is not just for that, maybe 1 year or 3 months or however long a project takes. It is really a lifelong thing. And another really amazing fact and power of our volunteer leaders is 95% of community members are now attending community meetings because of our volunteer leaders. So when we go into communities, sometimes communities aren't engaged, right? They just see this as, okay, maybe another NGO coming to do something in our community. However, with our volunteer leaders, they're able to mobilize, encourage, and empower the community members and say, no, actually, if all of us come together and all of us have a bearing in this project or in this activity, there will be, you will, number one, have much more pride in it, but also, two, you will see the impact and you will feel the impact on a greater level compared to if you just kind of, sit back and let, the organization do it themselves. So really, OneVillage partners and the community action volunteer leaders, they are the core of what we do. Without them, we really wouldn't be able to impact the people we're impacting, the communities we're impacting. The funds are great, but having these people on the ground who are a part of the community, who are known by the community and trusted by the community, leading these community projects, it really changes what we do and the impact it creates. So next up, we're actually going to show a very quick video of one of our community action group volunteer leaders. His name is Sheku Kane. He is from the community of Bumblehoon, and Bumblehoon is partnered with OneVillage Partners, I believe, from 2019. They've done latrines, and they've also completed a clinic. And it is really impactful. And you're just going to hear one story about how this man's life and how he also impacted his community, but also how his life has changed by becoming a volunteer leader. Over to you, Taylor.
Awesome. Just bear with me 1 second as I switch over. All right. And let me know if you guys can see the video screen. It's black right now. Awesome. I'll get this going.
Gapa buti mutulima obi mati mudamu ya batelo afina mutulima 2020 to 2021 na mati mudamu ya batelo alaba igina mati mupe tamia ala trilo to muva yefele vigina mati mumana sange mati mupe matamia a highway mutuma tamia ki pelile mati mutuma. Jepa nyama ga nyaba igelupina tutu igepi mate kina ga yepela nyaba funigisia ga mazikia na matima pe na miabi limutu ko nyama te nyagu ya atu igegema bonya ba igegale luku gale siabe na gulu gana boke alima liga igegeba tabi awatina egya ke na siate ya mamuya sa kokotina nganye ogoma muya video nyame ga ote ahu batemo kakagu fumagama ungia teke yake jubo ya muya kama joga ga malo butugama edetema kama amba ge black yamba funigisia goto le malo moli na nyi ge nabi yena ga ge galege pi hatu go gu teatro eje si akona sebe bido na muhina kutu yona yobe kemana maga jetu to kenyama do hui atei mwati kina mwati mu yobe kemala na mi abitidi te le mi abibia na be mi aba mate je baye be na aba mu pe agwo je mwapi bema muluko hijabu na ogo mu na fa agba mu bu liga bema te mu bu desia na wi gautele da tamia lega kamali pro tamia ajina mwati ma iskiwa kesha mwati mu kekijevima so gugwa ne moima atega bi na benya ogogo wike nyanya benya va ga ogogo kina ama ba go mabutu guma joka disia mwati mu ke make NGO pikina sataba na yin debla ta ko mate da bawu na me ote anu kekijema so tamenya ga hoteli anyamalia gava ubema kesie gwa ma abai kaka.
Oh, I love that.
It's beautiful.
So I really, Sheku's, I hope everyone could hear that really well. Sheku's story is really inspiring to me because I think the first thing that I want to highlight is, as I said before, a lot of these individuals already have that leadership capacity, already have that work ethic. And as Sheku pointed out, he didn't actually put his hand up to be a volunteer leader, right? His community members and community leaders saw his work ethic, saw how he was leading and what he was doing, and they thought this person will be really great in leading us in this project. So volunteer leaders, their roles really do vary from, as he said, from logistics to mobilizing community, to very a little from. There's really no role too small for our volunteer leaders. So I'm super excited that you guys have heard Sheiku's story, and we're gonna pass it on to Emmanuel, who's now gonna give us a little bit of a brief overview, an in-depth but brief overview of how of how our volunteer leaders, their day to day, and how we as OneVillage partners, we, choose them, and the rest going forward. Over to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Vanessa. Cielo, you have the PowerPoint?
Yes. Can everybody see my screen?
Just a group of people we're seeing.
Oh, just the bottom part, maybe? Let me see.
Yep, can see it.
All right.
Is it set?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vanessa, and everyone. Welcome once again. I am Emmanuel, Community Action Program Supervisor, and I stay in Daru, beautiful Daru. So, like Vanessa said, OneVillage Partners is creating some good change and on front lines with the involvement of the communities that we partner with. And one of those key partners are the community action groups that we form, which are part of the community action program. So OneVillage Partners Community Action Program have learned the power that inclusive approaches have to creating the change rural Australian and communities really need. So we have learned that the sense of volunteering involving community leaders actually is a way to go to make sure that the communities get what they desire as a change for everyone's benefits. Next slide. So, so the community action program actually enhances volunteer skills based on these premises across our partner communities in various ways. And one of them is we use innovative methods. We know that a lot of NGOs are in Sierra Leone, and some are doing things in different ways, but OneVillage Partners stand out to be different in many ways, and one of which is we use innovative methods, like we are using a community-led development approach where everyone is involved and they are leading from the front line or from the back. Additionally, we form skills up and nurture local leaders, like I've already said, and in the testimony of Sheku Kane, the community action program, actually, one of its main focus is to upskill and leverage community leadership. So we form and skill up community local leaders through volunteer trainings at various phases of our projects. And we use innovative grassroots-friendly tools like the peer-wise ranking, priority voting, and mapping exercises, with the use of local tools that the community members can easily access, can easily understand, actually get them excited and involved and make them even productive as part of the project. Furthermore, we value local expertise. So this is one key thing I really enjoy about the community action program, because like when we go to communities, after communities design their project, at the implementation phase, we give them the power again to select who they want to do the construction for them. And these people must be based in their communities. So we are making use of the locally based expertise who are as important as the external expertise that may come and do the similar work. Additionally, we budget with community members in line with their needs, including the estimation of cost, and we carefully set budgets in line with the community's agreed priorities. So unlike some other strategies used in the development world, OneVillage Partners make sure that all community budgets are budgeted at community level where everyone is present, and cost items identified and cost are set against what is actually needed, not what is wanted. Again, and most importantly, priorities of all these projects are really set on collective voice. So what I mean here, like everyone in the Barre in a community meeting at priority voting sessions is as important as anyone. So irrespective of your size or your color or how influential you are in that community, you only have one vote. So that one vote actually speaks to what the general community needs. And based on those voices that comes up, we do the priorities accordingly. So in this regard, therefore, everyone votes and democracy wins. OneVillage partners therefore give the freedom to get what we really need, not what other people think we want. This is one good quote, and I enjoy it, and I'm glad that you all are saying it. It's from a woman called Mami Kaba in Tikonko, where we are working, to construct a school with them. Yeah. So sustainable change in this regard, therefore, is OneVillage Partners continues to invest in individuals and communities by guiding them and motivating them to achieve various levels of sustainable change. We believe, sustainability has to do with the involvement of everyone and prioritizing their needs. And therefore, community level leadership is not just about the solutions, but triggering the right point of reaching the solution. So this code is interesting, but it's the fact. And this is how OneVillage partner will be able to build on the little successes to make significant moves with what is available, but by triggering the right points, asking the right questions, and making sure that the right projects have been identified, needs are prioritized, and people work on this to reach the solution that is sustainable and everyone desires in our partner communities.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. We are going to move into the Q&A section. So I'm going to stop the screen share for a while so we can see each other in the chat. And if anyone has any questions about our presentation or about volunteer leaders and how that works in the communities, like, please, you don't even need to raise your hand if you don't want to. You can just ask them and we'll have some time to answer the questions.
Taylor, I have one. How do volunteer leaders like Sheku keep up the morale and involvement, like after a community project has been chosen?
Yeah, that's a great question. Emmanuel, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sure. So we value both ends of motivation. We mean extrinsic and intrinsic motivations. So at every level of the community, we make sure that our volunteers are really involved in all phases. And quite recently, we in fact initiated a stipend scheme where we can give them a little bit of cash, right, after every 3 months. And this actually is not actually to compensate them, but to encourage them to prioritize these activities. Now, here's the interesting aspect. Even when we shall have left the communities, all right, the foundation of what we have built already, right, based on their own prioritizing them and their significance in all the phases of the community project, actually keep them moving. So from the onset, they already know that we are there for 3 years. For 3 cycle projects, it can be within 2 years. But after that, right, they have been formed into leaders that where they have been transformed into leaders who are able to lead their own development and therefore become even more interested in their own community development, more than how OneVillage Partners was there to tell them to do. So it means from the foundation stage, we nurture them up to more independent people where they'll be able to lead the activities of their village, even in our absence. So it may be in the leadership development and engagements and development program, the lead program, or it can be that it can be involved in other projects where OneVillage Partners is even no longer present. So this is how they get the morals, and how they get motivated to keep going in our absence.
Thank you, Mano. I also do have a quick question also about the volunteer leaders. I was wondering, and any one of you can answer this, doesn't have to be Mano. First, you may have talked about this a little bit, but I just wanted to know how long do the volunteer leaders serve? And I realized in the presentation that specifically Sheikh Kane, that he was appointed by the community. So I was wondering if this is what happens with all the volunteer leaders. And if that's so, like once their community appoints them, does OVP have any vetting process or any other criteria that they have to meet, even though they've been appointed by the community, or do they just straight away fit into that role because the community has appointed them?
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. That's a good question. I mean, actually, the recruitment process of volunteer leaders is not by appointment. In Sheku's case, just tell you that he's an extraordinary person. Based on his track record, everybody recommended him to be part of this particular cohort that is in the community to create change. But yeah, when we go, we use the community barrier to announce our presence, of course, after we may have visited them previously. And we announced that we need social amounts of leaders, and people volunteer, they raise their hands up, and we have a total, an approximate of 25 when we are recruiting 12. But now we recruit 8 per cohort, so an average of 15 will raise their hands up, and we conduct interview processes in a transparent way. We do that in collaboration with the local leaders and ordinary community members. We have few metrics that we actually grade them on, like their involvement in the community, their vision for their community, their records of what they have done so far, how they have been involved in previous projects with other NGOs. So after these interviews, then we actually select the very best of the many. Then we actually present this list to the leaders, okay, for a second thought. Then we make sure we place the list of the volunteers at the community barrier where everyone can come and see and ask questions if they wish to. So after which we go to an endorsement phase where everybody will want to say, no, we want this guy to be part, yes, we want this guy to be part of the cohort, or no, he should not be there because of these reasons. So these are the steps. So when once everyone agrees, then we commence the training. So it's not about only being appointed. Being appointed actually is, I'll call it a recommendation, not appointing you based on what you've done so far. But our recruitment process actually is more inclusive and open, and is on voluntary basis.
I want to address your question before I go.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. All right. So first, thanks, Taylor, Jill, Laura, Vanessa, all our OVP official employees, of course, Emmanuel. Thank you for this town hall. I really love the fact that we get these periodic updates to know exactly what we're doing and hearing from the people themselves. I'm particularly excited whenever I see it, the people from the villages, because then it kind of connects my trip in 2017 to the work that's being done, and I just get super excited. I know the Bandajuma in Putu that was shown is not my village, but I will take them as such. So Emmanuel, to my question, I get excited. Emmanuel, so the question that I have for you is that you've worked when we had a hub in Bunubu, along with having started the Daru hub and the surrounding villages that we work in. Do you find it easier or challenging, or what are the pros and cons or lessons learned from when you were at the prior villages and surrounding versus the Daru location? Because I know it always gets easier because word of mouth already gets to the communities to know what OneVillage Partners does and how different we are from other NGOs. But I just want to know if there are any unique nuances or lessons learned, given that Daru is a little bit away from our, what we'll call traditional communities.
That's a great question, Emilia. Thank you so much. I mean, community-led development itself actually is not an easy ride. And I can tell you that we are always motivated by the goals that we score, I would call it, and by even the challenges that we face across the communities. But I have enjoyed it so far. It's different in Daru and Bonumbu in many ways, but it has been more rewarding when we expanded at different directions, and we have experienced and piloted our method across different communities that were quite different from those that were in the Bonumbu end. So for Daru, for instance, we have this influence of a huge multilateral company that exports palm oil. So it's always that community people, we prefer to go to work first in the morning in this farm before coming to attend our meetings. So that's a change. That's different from what we had in Bonumbu, where everybody is set for the community meeting in the morning before going to their work, you know. So this is one dynamic. But I can say it has just helped us to be more flexible around how we set our meeting timelines and how we communicate with engagements like that with the community members. You know, it has been, we have had further communities also in the Daru hub. That's because we are extending more. And from the Daru, we are in 3 chiefdoms. You know, one of the chiefdoms actually just border with Liberia, which is the Malema chiefdom. So we have more further distances to reach these communities than when we're in Bonumbu. You know, so these are the couple of dynamics, I would say. Leadership-wise, we have had equal leadership support in terms of the paramount chiefs and community leaders, I would say, because everywhere we go, based on what we have done in the past, actually speaks for people to embrace us. Like, before I can even say I am Emmanuel, I work at OneVillage Partners, they will say, oh, that's the Pagoti, that's the Sharpening Stone, that's the normal name they call us. So that's how it has been. It has been really rewarding.
Awesome. Well, I think we have time for maybe one more question if someone has something that they've been wanting to ask. But if not, we can wrap things up a little bit early. We definitely want to make sure that we're not pushing over anybody's lunch breaks or anything. So yeah, thank you all for coming, and thanks for just joining our presentation on volunteer leaders and the community action group. If you do think of a question later, like, feel free to reach out to me, and we can definitely just take time to answer that and fill you in on anything that you might be curious about. And I can send my email as well in the chat, actually, before we leave, just in case anybody wants it. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. Yeah, so it's great to see everybody.
Good to see you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you,
to see you.
everyone.
Thank you for
Happy
coming.
holidays.
Let's keep this going next year, please. I love this.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Please.
thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.